Centuries ago, in the Solomon Islands, a new race of people evolved. They are the saltwater people, or Tuiasi, people of the sea. Like beings from an epic myth, the saltwater people became the force behind a unique act of creation. Off the island of Malaita is a giant coral reef. Inside the reef there lies a large lagoon, and within these waters the Tuiasi have created their own artificial islands. Some 200 meters wide, the largest and the oldest of these islands is Sulafo. It is now 500 years old and home to over 1,000 people. The Lao people buy pigs, taking them to the island where they keep them in pens over the sea. The pig is a status symbol, as it is throughout the Pacific. They are kept for a traditional form of ceremonial exchange and as a food source. Descendant of a 40-generation line of chiefs on the island of Sulafo, the present chief, Nathan Wati, is a tireless champion for the saltwater people. He believes passionately in the power of a traditional life.
My ancestors were once coastal dwellers. They built the artificial islands to move away from the malaria mosquitoes and the almost permanent state of war with the head-hunting hill people. The first saltwater people believed that the spirits of our ancestors acted as the intermediaries between the living people and nature. We feel now that the old balance of nature has broken down. The white man had a fatal impact on our economy and our environment. And young men stopped learning the prayers and rituals, the magic and ceremonies of our traditions. The white man brought medicine, and the children stayed alive, and the people of our tribes grew older, and our number has grown.
A new island is being built for Nathan Wati. He has organized the women of the island to collect the plentiful coral rocks that have lain broken in the shallow waters for centuries. These rocks will form the foundation of the new island. The women load the canoes and take them to the site. The rocks are heaped up until they are well above the waterline. It is long and backbreaking work. Artificial islands have only ever been built by human toil. Old men who are experienced in the creation of the islands supervise the work and point out the right place and setting for every stone. The height of the island is determined by the highest tides of spring. When the island is the right size, layers of small pebbles and crushed coral are spread over the top. Finally, over that, the whole island is surfaced with a thick layer of sand. On Sulafo, there is no running water and no electricity. Each day, every family fetches its own fresh water from streams on the mainland. Fish, their main source of food, is smoked for preservation.
So many old ways are forgotten. Once the old man knew exactly when to fish and when to stop fishing in a certain fishing grounds. In the time of our ancestors, we had plenty of fish of every kind. Now, the fish are becoming sparse. We could, if we had to, survive on fish. But large foreign fishing vessels have entered our waters, and our major food source is threatened.
Saltwater children go to school each morning and follow a modern curriculum. But Chief Nathan Watty sometimes questions the type of education they receive.
Now we have education. Our young people learn new values and then look for work. They have forgotten our traditional ways.
There is a strong sense of community on the islands. In spite of the inroads of modern life, many old traditions still survive. Bridal ornaments, traditionally made of shells, are still worn, and strings of once precious porpoise teeth. When a new bride goes to visit her future home for the first time, her feet are not allowed to touch the ground. Mats are spread before her. This queenly treatment originated to prove she was not stolen away from her home, but that the bride price had been paid to her family. In the deeper waters, the men dive to the seabed for the coral building stones. They never touch the reef itself. Lands are conquered, invaded, or repossessed. Rarely are new lands ever created. The saltwater people of Malaita are, in a small way, aligning themselves with the old and powerful creation myths in their unique custom of the making of new lands. Fearless, skillful, and swift on the water, adept at handling canoes from earliest childhood, the Lao people, unlike the mainland hill people, have no space on Sulafo for gardens or crops. The saltwater women come to the market on the mainland twice a week to trade their smoked fish for vegetables. The hill women come down from the mountains with their produce for this coastal marketplace.
Because of the pressure on our land, we have to buy our food. We now need the money the white man introduced. We have become very dependent on money.
In the past, when food was traded between them, the men from both sides came heavily armed to guard their women. The long hostility between them was never quite forgotten. The saltwater people, although maintaining many of their traditional beliefs, are now essentially Christians, and a large new church is being built on Sulafo. The previous church was blown down in a cyclone. It will take some 3 or 4 years to finish. The priest comes once a week, but services are held twice daily on the island. The people of Sulafo have donated a very large amount of their precious land to the new church. But in a world of change, Chief Nathan Watty ponders on the inconsistencies of the white man's beliefs.
We had always known there was a creator, and we had always left the spirits of our ancestors to deal with him. The white man told us about a creator who creates, and that killing is wrong. And yet there are times we think the white man will destroy the world. They are breaking the balance of nature. Sometimes I think the best thing to do would be to return to the old traditions of nature, to make the earth healthy again, to live in peace.
For 63 days, I have been on my way, and I burn to reach the longed-for land.
Paul Gauguin's arrival in Tahiti in June 1891 was, in a sense, an arrival for European painting. He came with a passion to live, to renew himself, and to find a lost innocence. He came to break down the doors of paradise and pour the colors and the splendor over the world. There was a girl of golden lights. There was the fire of imagination. There was a love story.
I had told her mother I was looking for a wife.
une belle peau. Et comment? Elle a de beaux cheveux aussi? Néné.
In the sun, she was a riot of chrome yellow. My heart beat faster. Her charming face seemed different from the others I had so far seen on the island.
Tu as peur de moi? Tu veux vivre avec moi dans mon faré?
Ja?
Tu veux vivre avec moi dans mon faré?
This girl, this child, charmed and scared me. This object of gold that I loved already. Every day at sunrise, there was a radiant light in my dwelling. Everything shone with the golden light of Tehura's face. Everything exhales the noa noa, the perfume of Tahiti. I set to work again, and happiness succeeded to happiness. I am no longer conscious of the days or hours. As if by instinct, Tahura keeps silent while I work. Sometimes, at night, flashes of light went over Tehura's skin, like furrows of gold. I loved her, and I told her so, which made her smile. Every day, Tahura yields herself more and becomes more loving.
Mais dis-moi, quel est le nom des étoiles en français?
She asks me what the morning and the evening stars are called in French.
Plus que celles de mon pays. On a l'impression.
She tells me the Tahitian names of the stars and their meaning.
L'étoile du soir, on l'appelle Taitti. C'est la fille du dieu Roa. L'étoile du matin, on l'appelle Tauraua. Il y a plein de légendes sur la naissance des étoiles.
Goga had left Tahura alone one night without a lamp. He was late returning.
I saw there on the bed Tahura, her eyes wide with fear.
Tu m'as laissé dans le noir. Ne me laisse plus ainsi. seul, sans lumière.
That image of Tahura burned into his mind. It was an image of emotional power that would become one of his most famous paintings.
Ne pleure pas. Je suis là maintenant. Avec toi.
If my works do not endure, there will remain the memory of an artist who set painting free.
But the real freedom came from Gauguin's recognition of the color, the power, and the natural life force of the world of the Pacific. One day, while he was out fishing, Gauguin caught a fish by its lower jaw. A fish caught like this, the fisherman explained, meant his wife had been unfaithful. Gauguin suffered the pangs of jealousy. In paradise, his Eve tormented him. The fisherman laughed and teased him.
Comment c'était avec ton amant? Est-ce qu'il t'a rendue heureuse?
J'ai pas d'amant.
Les poissons ont parlé.
Moi, sinon tu resteras fâché trop longtemps.
My hands would be cursed if I hurt her. It is by gentleness that anger must be conquered. I had to return to France. Imperative family duties called me back. I knew I would never know such calm and happiness again. Tahura wept for several nights. Tired and melancholic, her feet brushed the salt water. Her flower had fallen faded into her lap. She sang an old Tahitian song. You will see the man who left me. Tell him you have seen me in tears.
Gauguin did return to the Pacific. He saw Tahura again only briefly. He was to die in the Marquesas Islands in 1903. But his paintings and his journals speak forever of her enchantment.
Tahiti.